Today, the North Carolina Supreme Court did something it has only done twice in the last 30 years, giving a case a do-over, one that impacts your vote no matter where you live in the state. This is happening after a different party took majority on the bench. See, back in December, Democrats had the majority. They ruled against Republicans at that time in the case. Well, now Republicans hold the majority, and they made the move to bring this case back. WRAL's Matt Tallhelm is live now after listening to arguments from the attorneys in court today, also some protesters outside of the building. Matt.
Yeah, Dan, well, one of the justices here on the Supreme Court in the state raised that question. What's changed in 88 days since that decision back in December, besides the makeup of the court? Attorneys for the General Assembly argued the court got it wrong when it was controlled by Democrats here, and that decision should be reversed. And if that happens, Republican lawmakers could redraw those district maps, the voting districts, to give themselves more power.
It's obvious.
Voting rights groups rallied outside an unprecedented hearing in front of the state's highest court.
If we have a Supreme Court that's basically said, you know what, because the party we like is in power at the legislature, we're just going to rubber stamp everything they do, then that's a problem.
Kelly Williams stood with her sign, fighting for fair courts, fair maps, and fair votes.
We don't want to see any of our voting rights victories rolled back.
The people united!
Their chants and cheers could be heard inside the courtroom across the street.
Our next case is Harper versus Hall,
where the justices are reconsidering a case they decided just last year. That's when the court's Democrat majority ruled against redistricting maps drawn by Republican lawmakers as partisan gerrymandering.
That is not fair to the legislature. That is uprooting the constitutional duty of redistricting from the legislature, and it is arrogating it to this court and to the trial courts.
The justices followed partisan lines in their questioning of attorneys. Associate Justice Anita Earls, a Democrat, questioned the attorney for GOP lawmakers.
If the maps don't fairly reflect the voting strength of the people of the state, aren't you essentially seeking to prevent voters from exercising control over their own government?
Republican Chief Justice Paul Newby fired questions at the plaintiffs.
What do you think is the primary holding? Isn't it that elections should be fair?
After the hearing, members of North Carolina's Democratic delegation in Congress called on the court to serve as a check on the power of the Republican legislature.
What will prevent them from manipulating other components of our election process for their political advantage?
And now this is one of two cases the Supreme Court will rehear that have already been decided. Tomorrow, they will rehear arguments in a case involving a voter ID law. Dan?
It'll be interesting to see what comes of all of it. Matt Tallhelm reporting live. Thanks, Matt.